Most traffic stops begin with certainty, a flashing light, a firm voice, a simple explanation. This one began with something less visible: discomfort. Late afternoon, an almost empty road leading into town, quiet enough that every sound felt louder than it should. Her car moved steadily, not fast, not slow, calm in a way that didn't invite attention. Then blue and red reflections flickered in the rearview mirror. No siren, just lights, pulsing with the authority that trained people to obey. She pulled over smoothly, gravel crunching under her tires. The cruiser stopped behind her. A door opened. Footsteps approached with the rhythm of someone used to control. The officer leaned in without greeting. "Calm down. Do you know how fast you were going?" "At the official speed limit," she said, 80 kilometers per hour. His expression shifted, small but real. "That's impossible. License and registration." She reached for the document slowly, not from fear, but precision. That calm seemed to irritate him. "Why are you coming to this town? For work? That far?" She looked at him evenly. "Is there any law that forbids working around here?" A half second of silence. Waited. "I don't like the way you're acting," he said. "It would be best if you cooperate." Cooperate, not with law, with him. He studied her, then escalated. "Step out of the vehicle." "For what reason?" she asked, polite and measured. He paused, then said it plainly. "I am the only reason." The road stayed empty. The lights kept turning, and the line had already been crossed, because some mistakes don't start with violence. They start with certainty, and he was absolutely certain. He had stopped the wrong person. Authority changes shape when it feels questioned. "Step out of the vehicle," he repeated, sharper now. She stepped out without panic. Gravel under her shoes, wind in dry grass. The officer positioned himself at an angle. Visibility, dominance, habit. "Have you had anything to drink?" "No, sir." "Are you sure? Because I can ask for a breathalyzer." He leaned slightly closer. "And whenever I ask for one, I always find something." Her face didn't change. "We have not committed any legal offense." "Are you questioning my authority?" His voice stayed even, colder. "Because I might find something you don't want me to find." Then he turned his attention to the passenger, switching tones like flipping a switch. "Ma'am, I'm very sorry to bother you," he said smoothly, performative. "I need to question you separately." "Go over there, miss." The young woman moved aside, calm, too calm. The officer looked back at the driver. "I have to handcuff you. And why are you going to handcuff me? For your safety and mine." The driver answered evenly, "But this procedure is incorrect." The officer's eyes hardened. "Here, things work differently." That sentence revealed everything. Not law, territory. He stepped closer to the young woman again. "Is that man forcing you to do anything?" "No." "Are you sure?" He softened his voice. "Because if you feel uncomfortable, I can take him away right now." She asked quietly, "Would that be legal?" His face flickered, annoyance. "Here, things work differently." She held his gaze. "And how exactly do they work?" He stepped closer, voice low. "It depends on how you cooperate with me." Cooperate. Finally, no ambiguity, and the stop was no longer a stop. It was a test of submission. Clarity arrives when pretense drops. "I could really thank you," she said softly. "Thank me?" He smiled faintly. "How?" "I could give you my number." He didn't even pretend to be offended. "Is that all? How much money do you have?" "Almost nothing." "Then your number won't be enough for you to leave." Transaction. Out loud. "I have nothing else." "Then you'll be guests at the station." "Do you realize you're committing crimes?" the driver asked. The officer leaned in, calm as routine. "Are you going to waste the only chance you have?" "We're not doing anything wrong," she said. "Why would we get ourselves into trouble?" He gave a thin smile. "The last couple who got clever spent a week in a cell. Bread and water." She asked, steady, "Has no one reported you?" That question landed. It pierced him. "Turn around," he ordered. "For what reason?" "Because your attitude is reactive," he snapped, reaching for procedural language like a shield. "Cooperate, or I'll arrest you for disobeying." The driver said quietly, "Whatever we do, you're going to arrest us anyway." The officer's voice went cold. "Then I'll give you a reason." Motion, a sharp sound, sudden confusion. The officer's hand flew toward his weapon. "Central," he barked into his radio. "I need a patrol car, kilometer 32. I have 2 detainees." Now it was official, recorded, logged, and beneath the surface of this routine arrest, something else moved forward, silent, patient, invisible. Because corruption relies on one thing above all, believing no one is watching. Police stations are built to feel final, fluorescent hum, narrow corridors, desks that look like they've seen too many endings. The officer placed a small package on the desk. "This," he said calmly, "combined with assaulting an officer, will get you years." "Enjoy your stay." The driver looked at him evenly. "I needed us to get arrested." The officer blinked. "What for?" "To see how much corruption is in this town." He didn't deny it. He only looked irritated. He slid paperwork forward. "This decides how long you'll be in prison unless you negotiate like serious people." "How could we work something out?" the young woman asked, measured. He leaned in. "At this stage, are we really talking about $5,000? That's a lot." "Then get it. And if we don't?" He smiled thinly. "Call your boss. Our testimony is enough. 2 people lying to save themselves. No judge believes that." The young woman nodded slowly. "All right, we'll get the money. I need to call my sister." The officer watched, satisfied. He heard fear, desperation, compliance, everything he expected, except it wasn't fear, it was precision. She spoke into the phone with careful normalcy. "I need $5,000. It's a business opportunity." The officer leaned back, confident, because from his perspective, order had returned. Power above, compliance below, procedure optional, and he had no idea his certainty was being used against him. Time inside a station stretches until it snaps. They moved toward the exit. A corporal questioned the lack of a report. "Not everything is in the system," the officer said sharply. "It's none of your business." Outside, afternoon lights spilled onto the street. A vehicle pulled in, then another. The officer barely noticed. The young woman spoke quietly. "My sister is here." A woman stepped out with an envelope, composed, unhurried. The officer gave directions for the drop, still in control, still sure. Then he paused. A voice entered the air behind him. Calm, measured, unmistakably authoritative. "Of course justice is real, officer. It's just that, because of people like you, society stops believing it exists." The officer turned slowly. More people stood there now, silent, watching. "What are you doing here?" he asked, voice tightening. "I received a very interesting phone call," the voice replied. His throat moved. "Is she your sister?" The young woman's eyes didn't blink. "Well, I never actually said she was my sister." The officer froze. "This is a misunderstanding," he tried. "And was it also a misunderstanding," another voice cut in, "when you asked for $5,000? They tried to bribe me." "Are you really going to keep the same story?" the investigator asked. The officer looked around, searching for escape, for control, for anything familiar. But the street wasn't his territory anymore. And then the words came, clean and final. "Officer, you are under arrest For the first time since the flashing lights on that empty road, certainty left him completely. Part 6. Cold Justice. Cut. "This is a lie," he said, voice cracking. The call was recorded, an investigator replied calmly, and the attempt to move evidence without a report was documented. His breathing shortened. "She attacked me," he blurted. "I was just doing my job." "And thanks to that," the young woman said softly, "we got what we needed." Pattern. Multiple complaints. Same method, same intimidation, same money. He tried to stand tall, but the uniform couldn't hold him up anymore. "Take him away," the investigator said. No shouting, no spectacle, just inevitability. As he walked down the corridor, his footsteps echoed like a reminder. Authority without integrity isn't power, it's exposure. Outside, the world looked disturbingly normal. Wind, cars, afternoon light. But something had changed. The most dangerous illusion of corruption had cracked, that no one is paying attention. Because sometimes, justice doesn't arrive loudly. It waits, it watches, it records. Then it appears at the exact moment certainty feels strongest. And the most devastating truth is always the same. He didn't just cross a line, he crossed it with the wrong person. Most abuses of power don't begin with violence. They begin with confidence, routine, and the quiet belief that authority protects itself. But authority without integrity isn't strength. It's a collapse waiting for timing. So here's the question. Do you think power changes people or simply reveals who they already are? Like if this story made you think, subscribe for more quiet, powerful, life-changing stories.